Yo, how is it going, everyone? Welcome back to SkillCapped. My name is Jack, and we are here with a brand new best weapons tier list. Patch 2.05 is here, and with that, we can talk about the newest shifts in the ever-changing weapon meta of Valorant. Now, just like with our recent Agent tier list, there weren't any balancing changes to swing this list at the last minute, so this is more of your meta snapshot for this patch, rather than making a guess at what will be good in the future. As usual, we consult top players, reference recent pro play, as well as consider what happens at all levels of ranked when we make this list, so if you're confused why only using the Guardian isn't a more common strategy, then referencing this video might be helpful to you. So without any further dilly nor dally, fun fact, dilly-dally is in fact 2 words, look it up. Alright, let's get to the question of the day. Our question of the day is, what is the hardest round for you in Valorant? This can be full buy rounds, eco rounds, full saves, pistol rounds, etc. For me, it's the pistol round by far. This goes back to Counter-Strike for me, I don't know why, but something about how pistol rounds have very high movement accuracy, making the gunfights very sporadic while heavily relying on the first headshot you hit to win, makes them just hard for me to deal with. They just don't click with me. But that's just me. What round holds you back? Let me know in them comments down below. And you know what else might be holding you back? Weapons in the D tier. As with our other tier lists, we're starting at the bottom and working to the top of the crop. D tier weapons should be avoided at all costs. They have no viable use case that can't be filled by a better option. Our only D tier weapon this time around is the Yoru of weapons, the Guardian. Was that too mean? I think that was too mean. But we're here, so alas, the Guardian is frankly worthless. If I want a cheap, long-range option, I'm going for the Marshal. If I want a rifle for cheap, despite my seething hatred for it, I'd still go for the Bulldog. And on a full buy, it's Vandal or Phantom every time. The worst part about the Guardian is that I'm a huge history nerd. I love historical weapons and engineering, and that Eb1 Garand skin is so dang cool. It's cool enough I want to use the Guardian despite it being such a bad idea. God, let's move on. This one's making me sad. And you know what probably makes you sad? I know, because it makes me sad too. And that's losing ranked games. You don't want to lose ranked games, do you? Then go to SkillCapped.com right now. Agent guides, boom. Gun guides, boom. Aim guides, boom. Smurf commentaries to help you rank up fast, boom. Go there now in the link down below. I'm having too much fun with these ads sometimes. Moseying on over to the C tier, we have weapons that are just okay. Ultimately, they aren't bad. They're just on a downturn in the meta or relatively unexplored. Our first C tier is the Shorty. The Shorty is still pretty decent on the pistol round, but it's definitely limited to a much more defensive tool than an offensive one, and it's just too hard most of the time to close the gap, especially if you have to rotate on defense or push on offense. It just gets really bad. Ultimately, I think the Shorty hangs on to some form of legitimacy just because of what Raze and Sage can do with them. Raze can actually close the gap, and Sage walls make all shotguns really lethal. Other than that, the Shorty is just thoroughly average. It's just there. It just kind of does what it does. Our next C tier is my worst nightmare, and that's the Bulldog. Now, I'm not going to retread on my now infamous Bulldog rant from the last tier list. I'm going to be even here and not so biased against the Bulldog specifically. Okay, for its money, it's a decent mid-range AR, and on those weird half-buy rounds or when you need the extra utility, it's sure as hell better than the Guardian. And if you don't want to sub, then bada bing, bada Bulldog, you're there. I still find the absolute requirement of a headshot in the burst fire mode far too detrimental. It's so unforgiving. The TTK falls off the face of the earth as soon as you need 2 or 3 bursts, and the hipfire just feels like it does no damage. Okay, that's as rude as I'm gonna be to the Bulldog. It's there. I don't deny its role in the game. Okay, let's just move on. Heyo, new C tier alert. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. It's the Marshal. The law's back in town, boys. But no, seriously, I'm more and more impressed by the Marshal as the meta develops. Like, I'll talk about this later on. I think it's super valuable to have a cheap, ranged option in a meta that is so volatile because of shotgun spam early on. The Marshal is as good as you make it, obviously, but let's be real. Tagging multiple people for 100 damage with body shots is almost more valuable than 1 or no headshot kills. So if you struggle with precision, be a body shot bandit with this thing and rack up those assists. You will get value out of it. Heading on to the B tier, we got the tier of, hey, that's pretty good, but it ain't necessarily the best tier. Weapons here are either steady workhorses or former fallen giants that are the victim of a bad meta swing, while not being totally worthless still. Our first B tier is the classic, and just like in the agent tier list, this is like our Omen and Sova situation. Nothing else needs to be said. We all know what the classic does. It's a perfect pistol round option for people who value armor or need utility. It's not your first pick, but rather I'm stuck with this because of other things, but really that ain't that bad either kind of choice. Nothing else to say here ultimately. Learn to right click left click spam for some old pre-nerf cheese and go in. The next Rudy Tooty Shooty on the list of Rooney is the fallen god itself, the Frenzy. I'm gonna be real here, the Frenzy isn't worse at all than it was a mere month ago, but that price nerf was enough to really put it back. At the end of the day, the Ghost dominates mid and long range so well that it boxes the Frenzy pushes really nicely, and then if a Frenzy push does happen, players with Classic and Armor can survive that first dink and win the fight. It's just not the pistol round rifle that it used to feel like, and frankly I think it's better for newer players to learn to use the Ghost in the Classic and learn good accuracy than rely on a spray and pray option in such an important round. Our final B tier member is the other infamous Lord of the Realm, and that's the Stinger. My friends, let me ask you something very simple here. You know what else has about 15 meters of effective range and costs about 200 credits less? Yeah, the Bucky has made the Stinger so much worse, and the more mid-range meta developing to counter shotguns in the second and third round has also made the Stinger worse off. On paper, it's better than the Spectre in like every way, but the Spectre has a deadly laser beam accurate ADS mode and much more range. Stinger is just the victim of this meta in the worst way, and thus is knocked down to B tier. Getting to the good stuff now, we got the A tier. I like to say that the A tiers are pistol round and force buy tier. These weapons are excellent at their specific rounds, but obviously don't hold a candle to the staples of the force buy rounds or the overpowered outliers. Our first A tier is the Sheriff. Now I'm going to direct you to our full guide on the Sheriff pistol round strategies that have been developing recently in the top right corner now, because that video goes into great detail about the specific reason the Sheriff is in the A tier and will serve you much better than my little blurb right now. But suffice to say in summary that the Sheriff is not only a pocket shotgun sniper pistol, 2, 3, or 1 tapping every body in its sights, but it facilitates cool economic strategies to get operators as soon as possible. So yeah, the Sheriff has a cool niche in the early game of Valorant, and if that intrigues you, hit up that guide like I said. The next weapon needs no introduction, it's the Ghost. It's the best all-around pistol in the game, deadly on pistol rounds, perfectly serviceable on the second or even third rounds, and if you're saving, but got a little bit of excess cash, you can occasionally catch rifles off guard and full save rounds. It's just the best overall option. It's got a silencer, so no tracers, and low profile. It's got a large mag. It's just the best. It's been pretty much always the best, unless the Shorty, Classic, or Frenzy were just more overbearing at certain points. But the Ghost is eternal. The Ghost is forever. Use it, learn it, love it. It's got like 10 billion cool skins, if that appeals to you, which it does to me. Just do it. Do it! The first new kid on the A tier block is the Ares. Ares is really standing out right now as a byproduct of the power of shotguns. A running theme you'll see. Especially for defense, it's a standout option for range ADS holding, or just obliterating huge groups or walls of all kinds. It's stupid accurate while going full tilt spray down, and frankly terrifying to see someone use effectively. For the same price as a Spectre, you really get some Odin-like value early on, which is really cool. So if you like that playstyle, pick up the Ares. Our final A tier is the sub swinging for the Stinger stable, striding straight into a standard role, and that's the Spectre. Nailed it. The Spectre really overtakes the Stinger because of its mid-range capabilities, helping it not be shotgun bait, extra ammo, plus lower rate of fire, making it more likely to handle multiple targets before reloading, and just being a silenced laser beam, both aiming down sights and firing from the hip. It's good, and it's worth the extra 500 credits to have that security after a pistol win, or take the risk on a force buy after a loss. Stinger is no longer best friend, and Spectre is new best friend. Moving on, our S tier is literally the exact same as last time because nothing has changed in the full buy meta. These are the weapons you base your economy around, and they deliver for a reason, so let's go speed round style. First, we got the Operator. Watch some Wardell, hit up some Aim Labs or Kovacs, become the god of the flick, save that money, buy a jet body pillow, then always ask for your teammates to drop you an op no matter what. If you start hitting those shots, it's worth it. The Operator will always be a double-edged sword because of its cost, so if you're out here eating 5,000 creds like it's 5,000 calories and not doing anything with it, then I would consider not buying the Operator as much. Next. Vandal. If you prefer tap and burst fire over full spray control and play for accurate, consistent kills over more aggressive spray playstyles, take this gun. The choice between the Vandal and the Phantom only matters in the sense that you should pick one and stick to it because they handle differently enough to matter when you switch back and forth constantly. Phantom is the inverse of the Vandal. It taps accuracy, resets much slower, so longer bursts and sprays are rewarded. High rate of fire with lower recoil and a suppressor makes it the ultimate smoke shooting tool in the game. It's good for everything, and especially good for lurkers and flankers. If you trust your ability to get spray headshots consistently, then the Phantom might be your new toy. And finally, Odin Go AC-130 noises, and it's frankly a terrifying weapon to face because you think, oh, I'm just going to peek and one-shot him with a Vandal, and then he's tearing your kneecaps asunder before you've even finished peeking. If you understand the limitations, the Odin can be downright broken. It's also Sylva's best friend. And lastly, we got the overpowered tier, and nothing much to say here. Bucky players sneeze and annihilate all life in a 15-meter cone in front of them. It's dirt cheap and shoots nuclear salvos at everything you can see. It's disgustingly overpowered, and piloted by the right players, typically those who would see the world burn. You were just in for a bad time if you face a competent Bucky player. And the judge is as destructive, just full auto, less range, and always on a sage wall. Shotgun's been needing a nerf, and I'm shocked they haven't yet got one. And there it is, tier list done. Here's our final list. Let me know what you guys think and put your own personal lists in the comments down below. And I just want to throw this out there. If I seem like I'm losing my marbles sometimes, that's mostly a comedic act that I bring up when I am tired. I love all of you, and reading your reactions does bring a good smile to my face, so keep leaving them. And while you are down there, like and subscribe as well for more news, guides, tier lists, and hallucinatory videos just like this one, with one goal in mind, helping you become a better player. We here at SkillCapped would like to thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.